You're tuned into Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, drop the anchor and crank the volume all the way up because you are officially tapped into RBLR Bucs, the heartbeat of Tampa Bay football talk. To everybody riding with us, whether you're in the car, in the gym, at work, pretending to be busy, or just kicking back, we're fired that we're fired up that you chose to spend your time with us today. Tampa Bay family, this isn't just a podcast. It's a crew. This is a culture. This is where Bucs fans come to feel the energy all off season long. So, as you know, it's March 25th as we record this episode, and I guess we're maybe in that weird, grindy part of the off season. No games, no Sundays. No Raymond James rocking. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the slowest stretches of the football calendar. But the good news, it only gets better from here. In about a month or so, the NFL draft is coming, and you already know that's when the hope gets reloaded. Rosters get reshaped, and the future of this Buccaneers squad starts to take form. And until then, we still got plenty to talk about. Moves around the league, whispers, roster breakdowns, and everything else happening inside this Buccaneers organization. So look, before we dive in, if you're rocking with us, do us a quick favor, like and subscribe however you're listening to this. It literally takes a few seconds, and it helps to bring this energy every single episode. So while you're doing that, I want to give a shout out to the rest of the RBLR family, holding it down across Tampa Bay, covering the Rays, Lightning, Rowdies, Sun, and now even our beloved USF Bulls. So no matter the sport, no matter the season, they stay grinding, keeping you locked in with everything Tampa Bay sports. And hey, don't listen, but also talk to us. Drop a comment. Tell us what you're thinking. However you're listening to this, YouTube, Instagram Live or on X. Tell us what you're feeling. It's the off season, which means now more than ever, folks, we want to hear from you. Hot takes, questions, opinions, bring it all. Please, this is your space too. But that being said, look, I want to bring in my guy. This is never a one-man show. The man who reads defenses like a QB at the line. He breaks down plays like a seasoned coordinator and always brings that real, unfiltered football energy. Joining me, my co-host, Mr. Zach Blaine. How are you tonight, man?
Man, I am worn out. We started baseball season for the boys this week, and we've been going crazy with it. So excited to be here and talk some football, though, man.
You scared me, man. I thought you were going to say this offseason's got you worn out. But then again, it has me a little bit.
Every Tampa offseason makes me.
Yeah, there's always the influx of articles for every team that just pop up out of nowhere. So it's, I guess, as I say, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the season of the interns. But enough about them. It's time to talk about things that genuinely matter, okay? Like, first of all, the big thing was, we signed Christian Rozeboom. That was a 1-year, signing. I just wanted to kind of pick your head with that. What are your thoughts on that, Zach?
I feel like that wasn't the big thing that happened this week.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to start off with kind of, I guess, maybe the big signing, or hell, the only signing. So
yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about it. Like it's nothing. If I'm respectfully to him, he's a tackle merchant, which is cool. Like, he'll go get tackles, but that's really all he does. Like, he's essentially Servassier, a little bit older with more upside on special teams. So it's kind of, if Tampa is banking on him playing meaningful football this year, then we're gonna have deeper issues.
Yeah, no, I mean, my first thoughts were, it's depth, and I think it's more of a special team situation. The comparison to Servassier Dennis is
they're ranked.
It's there, and because I know we were talking about it in the group, and the PFF I think actually has, I think Rozeboom technically worse than Servassier Dennis.
Yeah.
Like just a little bit below, but
marginally worse. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I saw like a fun fact. I think he picked off Baker actually the last time they played each other. But yeah, as you said, Zach, he is a tackling merchant. He had 122 total tackles last year. So he's actually one of the only 5 NFL linebackers in 2025 to record 120 plus tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception per CBS Sports. So um, I was gonna ask you. It doesn't seem like it's a steal to you, does it, Zach?
No, no, this is
Oh,
just depth signing,
okay.
special teams type deal. Like, uh, yeah, if
Yeah.
we could have gone a plethora of different ways here and made a bigger impact, but I think he'll be good on special teams, and I think he'll be good in a pinch if we need him to play defense. But if we're putting him in coverage, we're gonna have some issues.
Yeah. No. I'm right there with you. I think this was more just to kind of call out the fact that you can't just look at the stats like that and be like, OMG, we just hit a home run, because then anyone who really knows Christian Rosaboom knows that this is not something to be going all buck wild for. I mean, nothing to be negative about, but yeah. Hey, look, it's better than nothing. I think we can agree on that. So yeah, that's probably the only thing I had to say as well. But folks, I do want to apologize with my words with the big news. That was not the big news. I should have maybe rephrased it. Wanted to go a little bit in order. Now, fresh off the press. Now, this is big. Of course, I think you already know what's coming. Uh, Lavonte David has retired after 14 seasons. Absolute Buccaneers legend. I kind of wanted to start off saying, I mean, him and Mike were, my 2 guys, that, really made me fall in love with this team, since from the start of me truly being a Buccaneers fan. And just quickly, I wanted to kind of go over because I had to remind myself, how legendary of a career this guy had. Because yeah, the way his last season wasn't like, oh wow, what a way to just go out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't one of those kind of seasons, but he, by all means deserves the most respect. 1-time Super Bowl champ, 3-time All Pro, 7th all time in combined tackles, 4th all time in tackles for loss, 4th all time in solo tackles. So, obviously, I think the first question for me, I wanted to ask you, Zach, is, is he first ballot Hall of Fame level? Because I think him and Derek Brooks literally ended with the exact same number of tackles from what I saw. I couldn't believe my eyes. I think I was like, wow, is this fate or something? But talk to me, Zach. How do you feel about this?
It's a weird feeling because you're right. Like that, Lavonte David is I don't want to say childhood because he was drafted in 12 and I graduated in 13. So like he wasn't my childhood, but like he's been on the Bucs as long as I can remember, like fully paying attention to football. And it's gonna be weird to see him not on the field. Uh, Without a doubt in my mind, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. And granted, is that going to happen? No, he will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer because he never got the attention that other linebackers have. But if you put him on, I saw a stat thing. It was him, Bobby Wagner, and Luke Kuechly. I am not going to compare him to Luke Kuechly because Luke Kuechly was just a freak. Like his career was short and his numbers were relatively close to Lavonte David and Bobby Wagner still. But I think to say that he shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer is insane. But he played in Tampa. He never was recognized as one of the best linebackers in football, but he was.
No, most definitely. I mean, I think this was a big retirement, kind of news. I think all around the league, but yeah, I mean, especially for the Buccaneers, it just, yeah, I feel like this day was bound to come. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong. Last year we were talking about, if Levante runs it back or something. That was in the air even last year or something. But yeah, look, I mean,
Well,
he
yeah,
had an abs. Say that
last
again.
year was the first year that they were like, "Hey, if he wants to come back, he can." And it was the
That's what
first
it was.
year that I remember like waiting to hear on Lavonte David. Now, I think him retiring when he did is for the best. And
Yeah.
that's not hating on him. His last season was not great. And I think I didn't want him to pull a Brett Favre situation where like you go until the brakes fall off, and then I think that tarnishes your legacy. And this season was not bad enough to tarnish any legacy for Lavonte, which is perfect. Like this is how you should go out. Go out on top. While you may not have had your best season, it wasn't a bad season. So like I think he played it right. I think this was the right call.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I wasn't thinking about it before now, but you mentioned it, Zach, which is perhaps we're just not in that kind of, mode anymore where, OG veterans are like, willing to, give it one more year. And it doesn't help that, Mike Evans also departed now. So I just feel like the vibes are not kind of like, the boys are back. And let's also talk about the fact, because I had seen this from Buccaneers Post as well, which was this is not the same Buccaneers team that like, I think I had to give myself a refresher. The only remaining rostered players from that Super Bowl championship team are it's just Godwin, Wirfs, Antoine Winfield, Vita Vea, and then Anthony Nelson. So, I
Yeah.
mean, this team has changed a lot. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So,
it's been 5 years.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. So,
we can't expect it to stay this, especially when that team was. It's gonna sound like I'm dogging on the Super Bowl, and I'm not, because it was the perfect way to do it. We bought that Super Bowl, like we brought in veteran players.
mhm.
That's how I think that's how you win Super Bowls. You're not going to win Super Bowls with 4 starting rookies, like you know what I mean. So when you do it, when you have it, or when you play a Super Bowl that way, you're going to have turnover, and it's just we're at the point now where we're losing. Like our guys are aging out that we've watched their whole career essentially, and it just kind of sucks. But everything's got to come to an end at some point. Why not do it when the getting is good, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've said this before, and my friends have mentioned this to me. Being that they've been watching Bucks for a very long time, as well as we've been spoiled. Buccaneers fans, this organization, for the most part, hasn't been good, mediocre at best. And I think it's time for those Buccaneers fans who are still riding off that 2020 championship high to let it go and realize that we are exactly, where we belong, which is the NFC South, which is the division consisting of just the weirdest teams, the most roller coaster teams, anyways. So, we should always be positive, but yeah, right now we're we're not in that kind of phase where we should be kind of walking with our heads high. I don't want to sound too negative either, but it's like, dude, look, Lavonte David is slowing down. There's no need to, give it one more push because we're not Super Bowl contenders. We've had this discussion before. You, me, and Carter, we're at least a couple of years away from being true Super Bowl contenders. So let's clean out what we can and go from there.
It's just weird because the front office is sending so many mixed signals. Like we're looking at it right now, we are not a Super Bowl team. We could have been had we signed free agents, but we didn't sign free agents. We brought in Alex Anzalone, great pickup. That's the only great pickup we had this offseason. Like him and Gainwell, if you want to put Gainwell in there, I don't think he's as impactful as like we could have gotten, but we got him. Like it is what it is. But then I'm hearing rumors that we're trying to work on a contract extension for Baker. I'm all for it. I love Baker. I want him to be our starting quarterback of the future. But if you're going into a rebuild, which Tampa will never admit to going into a rebuild, but if you have faith in Baker as your quarterback, you're going to sign him to an extension. Why are we not giving him what he needs to succeed? Like you got to make up your mind. You can't be a team that won't spend money and won't trade, but will pay your quarterback to just be your quarterback. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, you're saying, more on the offensive side, you're talking about needing more wide receiver weapons.
Well, no, I'm not even saying necessarily on the offensive side. I'm just saying if
Okay.
you're going to
Oh,
sign
you mean for
guys
his team? I mean, yeah,
for
this is,
his team in
yeah,
general.
this is Baker's team. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did want to ask you, kind of piggybacking off of the whole
yeah.
Lavonte David, leaving. My kind of, my last question with that, which is, and we can kind of discuss now Baker because he's kind of my guy, which is, how do you replace that kind of quiet leadership in a locker room full of young guys? And now that I'm thinking, this is Baker's team now more than ever. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, it's
maybe on the
Baker
defensive
and
side,
Godwin.
you give it to Antoine and Vita, but this is Baker's ship now more than
If
ever.
you don't give it to Antoine. Antoine, in
Right.
my opinion, has not earned it. The only person that has earned it on that defense is Vita. There is no other player on the defense I go, he should be a leader of that team. It is Vita Vea unquestionably for me. And then I think it's Baker's team on the offensive side. There's him or Godwin, but honestly, Godwin is I don't as weird as it sounds, I don't necessarily see Godwin as like that leader. And it's not a dig on him. He's just almost
Yeah.
too quiet and reserved, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. Not everyone has that quality. So yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, it's got to be Baker, leading this, group of young men now. And I'm kind of curious to see, yeah, with the offensive weapons we have, what we do, especially in that wide receiver room, because it's like other than Godwin, it's a very young wide receiver room. But I did want to kind of talk about what's left to fill, based on what we know. So you already mentioned Alec Anzalone and and Gainwell, but um, me and Carter talked about Al Quadin Muhammad also joining the Buccaneers. Wanted to ask you, would he be able to replicate last year's, elite production, or was that more just because of the Hutchinson factor? And then thoughts on the value, 5 mil.
I mean, the value is the value. Like you're paying an edge rusher. If he can replicate it, it's a great deal. Uh, when your running mate is now Yaya Diaby, Kalijah Kancey, and Vita Vea, you're probably not replicating those numbers. Um, again, not a dig on him, but he's never been a great player outside of the one season with Aiden Hutchinson. And I think that goes to show more to Aiden Hutchinson and not him. I think he's had at least one. I know he's had at least one suspension for PEDs. Like I don't know. I don't get the signing when there was other players out there that I think are better and more established players.
Yeah, yeah. Who are some? I mean, who are available? At that time. I mean, I know it's been about a week and a half or so
Yeah, I
now.
mean, you still got Bosa's still available. I'm trying to think who else is available at that
So I
time.
know that was mentioned like Khalil Mack, Jonathan Allen, Dre
Well,
Greenlaw.
Khalil Mack was gone already. He
Okay.
before free agency even started, he agreed to sign back with the Chargers. But even right now, I mean, you've got Joey Bosa, Cam Jordan's old. I wouldn't put him up there, but he's more established and productive than Muhammad. Jadeveon Clowney. Yeah, I mean, there's those are like the three for me. Jadeveon Clowney,
Hmm.
Cam Jordan. I don't want Cam Jordan on this team ever. I hate that guy. Not really personally, but football wise, I hate him. Uh, and then Bosa, I think, are all better players than Muhammad, and they're
Hmm.
still free agents.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I too wonder, I feel like we're just leaning towards the draft. But, as we've mentioned, this is just the kind of thing is, uh, are we finally going to hit it on the nail with getting, a nasty, edge rusher? Because as of right now, we don't have any guy who can produce 10 plus sacks. I think the last time we had that was what, Shaq Barrett back in that Super Bowl year, the year after, something like that. So, yeah, that's been missing for a while. It hasn't been hitting. And I mean, on top of that, there are other holes to fill on this defense. It doesn't help that Lavonte David's gone now as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about going to the draft. Jason Light has never drafted a multiple sack or a double digit sack guy
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. Well, I think I think. Well, I have to ask you. Do you think I mean, we're gonna end up
Oh,
drafting an edge
100%. We're
rusher?
gonna
So
reach.
the thing is, it just
We're gonna reach at 15, or we'll trade back,
yeah,
and we'll trade back and pick up someone uh, who will amount to absolutely nothing as a pass rusher. He'll be a situational pass rusher at best, and that's just how it's going to go. It happens every single year. We have high hopes for some. Where did David Walker play?
yeah. Central Arkansas. Yeah, he'll be
Yeah,
back as well.
yeah.
Maybe
Thank
there's some
God.
hope
I
for him.
really
Maybe
love those
that's why.
Arkansas pass rushers, studs. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just struggle with it, man. It's hard to.
I also, yeah, wish. I'm wondering, yeah, like Chris Braswell. I felt like
Oh,
I've been wanting
great.
to see more.
We saw enough of him. Nothing. That's all.
Yeah, so unfortunately, yeah, that was the one I was excited about. I was like, okay, this, I mean, I saw the tape,
Yeah,
came from
Alabama
Bama,
edge
but
rusher gonna be awesome. Nope.
yeah,
I have come
no,
to the point
so
where anytime Tampa drafts an edge rusher, I fully expect him to blow.
yeah. I gotta say, obviously, it's impossible because you'd be an idiot to let him fall that deep. But in the event the world falls and David Bailey falls to 15, I gotta say, David Bailey's probably the only one I'd be like, nah, man,
No,
you
there's
gotta
there's
take him.
there are two edge guys that if they were to fall or Tampa traded up, I'd be happy with, and
Yeah,
that's Ruben Bain and David Bailey.
yeah. Oh, and
Um,
Yeah, Bane too. Yep.
those are the only two that I
Yeah.
think are within reason for Tampa to either trade up for and not have to go to top three, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and are actual first round talents.
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
know
man.
everyone's mocking. A lot of people have. I've seen a lot of people mock Akeem Mesidor. Uh, he was kind of irrelevant until playing next to Ruben Bain. Uh, and he had like one. He had this year was his breakout year. You can't tell me that's not a huge part because of Ruben Bain. like
Yeah,
uh,
perhaps I think maybe Akeem Mesidor is the Al Qadim Muhammad of the Miami Hurricanes. Maybe that's what it is.
100%. That's how I look at it. Like I think
Yeah.
Ruben Bain is such a threat that you kind
It
of
happens, dude. I mean, dude, when there's I mean, when there's two weapons and one's amazing, the other one's okay, decent. Yeah, that one, it's gonna have to be used a couple times. So, and it's going to hit a couple times. So I think, yeah, I think we can agree on that. But I did want to, kind of talk about also a little bit with, this edge rush room or just on defense. Just some kind of talk that I was, seeing going around the football world related to the Buccaneers. Logan Hall, as you know, is now on the Texans, and he was interviewed regarding, playing for D'Amico Ryan, and he had said, you're not going to get stuck into this monotony, Hall said. I'm really grateful coming from the scheme I was in. Similarly, you get to do a lot of things that you might not be allowed to do on other teams. The blitzes and the stunts, just to be dialed in that way, is really rewarding and really fun to play for. So I don't know. Maybe I've seen some people kind of, think about the use of the word monotony a little bit. So I just wanted to ask, what are your kind of thoughts on a statement like that? Is it is it Logan Hall's fault? Do you think maybe, perhaps he just needed a change of scene? Is it really this Todd Bowles defense that needs to be, investigated or
I have been a very, very outspoken on how much I do not think Todd Bowles is a good defensive coordinator. like
Mhm.
I, I've
Yeah.
I have openly stated that countless amounts of time. Do I think Logan Hall is a good edge rusher? I think he's good in situations, which is what Tampa drafts, situational edge guys. Like I think
Mhm.
playing next to
Yeah.
Will Anderson is going to help. And oh god, who's their other edge guy? Why am I blanking?
Daniil Hunter.
Daniil Hunter, yeah. Um, Playing next to them is going to make him look like a stud because
Right.
you can't
Yeah.
block three people.
Well, I think that was the thing that I was reading. I was like, he felt like he was being more like a defensive tackle on this team, and he wants to, I think, get a little bit more of that outside action. So I think that's what was the kind of issue. I don't think he wanted to, bluntly say that, but yeah, I mean, kind of just putting on your coaching lens. I know. Listen, dude, I know you don't like Todd Bowles, but maybe I just haven't really, took it in. But what are your thoughts on Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator when it comes to our pass rush? What is going on with this?
I think that he fails to. The biggest problem I've always had with him is that he fails to. I don't want to say game plan, but like change course. He will run the same thing the entire game. Our corners are going to line up 8 yards off the ball, no matter what the situation is, 8 to 10 yards off the ball, and then you're going to try and get mediocre pass rush guys to the ball or to the quarterback. Well, it just doesn't work out. So I mean, I feel like the issue with him is not necessarily lack of talent is a thing, but I think it's more so Todd Bowles' lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Lack of just
Creativity?
creativity. There you go. I don't want to say creativity. I think he's creative. I think that it's when he uses that creativeness. Like, I've seen him blitz linebackers and get to the quarterback, and like I didn't even see it coming.
Maybe lack of situational awareness. When to, yeah.
It's like he's like it seems like he's got a damn playbook or like a game plan, and he's like, all right, so on this down we're gonna do this, but
Oh, I gotcha.
on the
Okay.
first play this, and then it's just like a list of plays, and that's what he calls no matter what the situation is, no matter what's going on. Oh, it's a 3rd and 1. We'll line up 10 yards off the ball. There's no way they're gonna run a slant here. It just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense the way he calls defensive plays. I don't understand it.
Unfortunately, I don't think anyone has ever been positive about this Buccaneers defense in any sort of way. Whether it's here on this pod or whether we've seen it from players as well. And I feel like you're kind of talking about this predictable thing, Zach, is kind of what Logan Hall perhaps is maybe saying is with the whole monotony. And I know I forgot who it was, but someone had mentioned that the Buccaneers did too many walkthroughs like after the bye week, and I remember there was one player who was like, "Oh, like I want to talk to Coach Bowles about this." So it's there, dude. Obviously, the vibes are just not good, and everything just seems messy on that defensive side. So yeah, there's just a lot of a lack of a lot of things, and I'll tell you this, folks. The other day, my mom had seen me and she said, "You got a lack of style, Musab. You got to you got to up your style game." So, what did I do? I said, "You know what, Mom, you're right." And she said, "You know what? Do I need?" I said, "No, no, no, Mom, it's okay." I went immediately on over right in front of her. I said, "Mom, relax. I got this." I went on over to shop.rblrsports.com. Okay. And I looked around, I perused around, and there's options, there's variety as well, covering, as we know, we cover all Tampa Bay. So, and we got hats, shirts, all kinds of stuff. So, and I was able to use the promo code, which I'm gonna bless you with I'm gonna bless you with right now. Because we appreciate you. That is Cannons. I used Cannons, CANNONS, for 10% off my order. Boom. I just Apple paid that bad boy, and it should be on its way soon. So I don't know where but it's somewhere in the air right now. But on the real though, check it out. And yeah, we hope you get a little something something. So now going on to our second half of this episode. Gonna have a little bit more fun with it, maybe a little bit more bigger picture. Now, Zach, you had mentioned, a little bit of that mock talk with Akeem Mesidor, and my first question is, I feel like, man, I don't want to sound too harsh, but as a Buccaneers fan, you'd be an idiot not to think that we're gonna go linebacker or edge in the first round. But I have seen, and I'm sure you have seen some mocks with some other positions in the first round. So
I mocked.
I wanted to talk about that. First of all, what are your thoughts on? Is that crazy? And second of all, which mocks do you like? Maybe some positions or players that
Is
maybe
it?
you've seen.
Is it? Are you asking if I think it's crazy to take a different position in the first round?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I like I said, I don't think outside of Bailey and Bain, those are the only, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an expert in this situation, but I think that those are the only true like first round studs in this draft for edge guys. I think you're reaching for anyone else after that. Do I think other people get taken? Of course. And then linebacker, it's kind of the same situation. Sonny Gray is worlds above, in my opinion, the best linebacker in this draft. Athletically wise, I should say, because we saw that with Isaiah Simmons. It could very well be the same situation, but he's kind of a stud. CJ Allen is a big one that I've seen being mocked to Tampa. I hate that. I just don't like that to Tampa at 15.
No, I also would like to shut that down just because that kind of doesn't fill what we need, which is the coverage. We need a coverage
Exactly.
linebacker.
If
So
I'm not mistaken, he's played more of an outside backer, and they're trying to kind of put him into
right.
the inside linebacker role because he's undersized. But I think if he's there in the second round, it's not a terrible pick. But again, I think that Sonny Styles is worlds above everyone else as far as overall talent wise. So if we're at 15, even if we trade back, I am a huge proponent of either taking a corner or a wide receiver first round if some of them fall to us. I'm not huge on wide receiver in the first round because I do think that we're okay in the wide receiver class or in the wide receiver standpoint. We're going to have to take an X style receiver or sign one. But my favorite pick that I've been mocking to Tampa is Colton Hood out of Tennessee, corner, big physical corner, freak athlete. Like he's just a very, very solid player, and I think would be an instant impact guy day one.
No, most definitely. Yeah, man. I like Colton Hood. I've even seen Avion Terrell as well on some mocks. I've seen some Avion Terrell tape as well. I think
He's
he
just a little
has
small for my
he
liking.
balled out. Say it again.
I said I think he's just a little small for my liking. Isn't he a little bit shorter?
Oh man, I gotta check up his size up again, but I don't
I'm
know,
already
man. Man, he was a dog from what I was seeing. But I guess I wanted to ask you. So you don't think it's?
5'11".
Say it again.
He's 5'11".
Okay.
Colton Hood's 6 foot, and then Jermod McCoy is the other one I really like. He's 6'1".
Okay. Yeah. 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 So I guess I wanted to ask you. So you don't think it's crazy? So you don't think it's crazy if we were to go, maybe corner or,
If
maybe.
you ask everyone else, I think that yes, it's crazy. Like everyone else is going to say it's crazy. Me personally, I don't think it's crazy. I think in the first round we need someone that could start right away and make an impact. And I don't think reaching for an edge guy because you need one or reaching for a linebacker because you need one is the smart play there. If you trade
I
up,
see what, okay.
if you trade up and take Ruben Bain, I'm all for it. Or you trade up and somehow Sonny Styles falls from the top 5, you do it. Yes, like that's the smart play. Those are the most important positions you need right now. It's not me saying that linebacker and edge are not our number 1 and 2 needs, but it's not worth reaching for somebody, especially when you have the track record that Tampa has of not being able to draft edge guys and reaching for an edge that probably is not going to be worthy of a first round pick.
I like that, dude. No, you know what? I didn't think about it before, but yeah, the whole reaching part. Yeah, it's not always about the whole, just reaching for what you need, but finding the best available. And yeah, dude, you can't go wrong with
Yeah,
a
and
damn
it's
good cornerback, someone you can get there day one, lock, someone
exactly,
trustworthy. Yeah, man, that's gonna help a lot.
and it's more so because I've said it a lot, but Bailey and Bain are the two best. And then after that, there's a solid group that I think are going to be good that will go in the second and third rounds. You got Malachi Lawrence out of UCF. You've got R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. Zion Williamson or Zion Wilson, I think is his name, right? Out of Missouri. Yeah,
Hmm.
Zion Young. Sorry, not William. I'm thinking basketball. The scores are coming across my phone right now. Um, but in Cassius Howe, like those are
Cash
all
is hell, yeah.
they're all really close together, and those guys are going to fall into the second and third round. I mean, they might not fall to the third round like some of the ones I'm naming. Like, I don't think you see Zion or R. Mason Thomas go in the third round or Gabe Yakas. Like, I don't think we see them fall to the third. But if you trade back in the first, take Colton Hood, now you could potentially pick up an extra second round pick, and you have that ability to go out and get a linebacker and an edge guy in the second round. So I don't think it's worth reaching for them when there's that group is much closer talent wise than reaching at 15 for a guy who you could get at 40.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And the other one that the one that you haven't mentioned that I've seen, or I'm sure we already mentioned it before, which was Kenyon Sadiq. We've seen his name before many times. One name that did kind of catch my eye that I saw actually was from Buccaneers.com. Actually, Chad Router from NFL.com. His pick for the Buccaneers was defensive tackle Caleb Banks. So I just wanted to ask you, we're talking cornerbacks, which I'm like, okay, I agree, yeah, man. But what will your thoughts be? And look, I think we've discussed. I mean, Kenyon Sadiq is a freak of nature, so I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. I wouldn't be like, whoa, I mean, I think it's great, but I'm still leaning defense. But defensive tackle, just because the justification was, Vita's a free agent next year, so he can fill in those shoes.
Yeah, horrible take on there for that draft. No reason to take. I think Caleb Banks is going to be a good player. I do. I
Right.
like not even close to what we need right now. I get it. Vea's going to be a free agent next year. Well, guess what? There's probably going to be a good D tackle next year in the draft we could take to replace him.
Yeah.
We've got Cansey who kind of plays that role a little bit with like on the inside of the defensive line. Um, Lee Hunter is probably my favorite D tackle. If he were to fall at 15, maybe. But even then, I don't want
Yeah, even then,
to.
no, man. I
There's
mean, no.
so far down on the list of needs.
Yeah, no. At that point, I feel like if you're not going linebacker, edge, cornerback, or if you don't have Kenyon Sadiq available, then I guess. But still,
I
no,
would
I
go
don't. Yeah, I
edge.
don't see
I
it
would
all.
go if like I would. Yeah, you got to do best available player. And right now, Caleb Banks is overall ranked 38 position. He's the fourth best D tackle. So you're taking like your let's just say fifth or sixth biggest need and reaching for the fourth best player at that position. That would be insane.
Yeah. Well, we've seen, and I'll tell you this, Zach, whether it's our team or another NFL team, we're going to see some real funky things in the NFL draft. And I think that's always something exciting. And I'm excited to, also have Carter back. And, hopefully Tyler can, also join on the show as well. We can get that draft talk. But last thing was just real quick, wanted to see if you had any thoughts about our NFC South rivals and what they're doing. For example, Tua Tagovailoa, is now signed with the Falcons on a one-year deal. And then, Orleans just signed Zach Wilson, probably just going to be back up to Tyler Shaw. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a Saints move. And then Carolina got A.J. Dillon and, stocked up with Jalen Phillips as well. So do you think – I don't know. What are your thoughts on the NFC South rivals, how they've been doing this offseason?
Well, I think everyone got better.
Better than us, huh?
Genuine. I won't say better than us.
Oh, we're not better than us, but they did more this offseason.
I think they all had a better offseason than us.
Yeah.
100%. Who was the linebacker that Carolina got? I'm blanking right now, but Carolina got a linebacker that I wanted. Now I'm blanking on his name. He's like the best linebacker in the draft.
Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, they got Devin Lloyd. Jalen Phillips. Now, granted, they overpaid for Jalen Phillips. There's no argument about that. They're hoping and praying he can stay healthy. But I genuinely think that everyone got better while I don't know that we took a step back. We lost Mike Evans. That's huge. But like Lavonte David, I think we're going to put a better product on the field with Alex Anzalone this season. Not career-wise, not taking that away from David, but I think we kind of stayed on par, and everyone else around us got better. I do think we still beat the Saints in the South, but we'll see.
No, man. Yeah, I think they definitely were cooking it up a lot more than us, but we'll see. Indeed, I think I'm just excited to see what how we match up with Carolina more than the other two teams. I think Saints are just doing Saint things, but there's still plenty of time to go before the start of the regular season, and who knows what they do in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those teams does something real funky. God knows. But anyways, I'll tell you this though, Zach, I appreciate you, man. Always, shooting it, with some football talk, especially with our Buccaneers. And, I'll tell you this, man, always keeping it real. And I know listeners, they appreciate that as well. They don't like that kind of fluffy mumbo jumbo. They can always just hop on some
you can go watch
little AI, ESPN, little platform and just get their little fluff from there. But hey, listeners, if you appreciate, if you appreciate us, and I'll tell you this, we really appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I look forward to talking about, Buccaneers football with all of y'all next week. And keep on fighting the good fight. And as always, go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.